The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a deeply complex and long-standing issue that has resulted in significant suffering for people on both sides. It's important to recognize that in such conflicts, the greatest burdens often fall on civilians, many of whom have no direct involvement in the hostilities. Innocent lives. In conflicts like the Israeli-Palestinian dispute, innocent lives are invariably affected. Civilians, including women, children, and the elderly, often bear the consequences of military actions and political decisions. Homes, schools, and hospitals frequently become battlegrounds or collateral damage, leading to loss of life and long-term trauma. Mutual suffering. Both Israelis and Palestinians have endured pain and loss through decades of conflict. Each side has experienced the grief of lost loved ones, the fear of ongoing violence, and the frustration of disrupted lives. Such experiences are mirrored on both sides, reinforcing cycles of grievance and retaliation that complicate peace efforts. Learning from history. The history of this conflict is deeply rooted in national and cultural identities, historical claims to land, and the severe impact of past wars and displacements. However, focusing solely on historical grievances can overshadow current realities and the human cost of ongoing conflict. It is crucial to apply the lessons of history to the present, fostering a forward-looking approach that prioritizes human rights, justice, and reconciliation over past animosities. Addressing the Israeli-Palestinian conflict requires an acknowledgement of the shared human cost and a concerted effort by all parties, supported by the international community, to engage in meaningful dialogue and negotiation. The goal should be to find a sustainable solution that respects the rights and aspirations of all involved, minimizing future suffering and paving the way for lasting peace. This approach encourages looking beyond historical narratives to address the current needs and rights of all people affected by the conflict. Humanitarian impact. The conflict results in high civilian casualties and severe disruption to daily life due to military operations and other forms of violence. Essential infrastructure like water supplies, electricity, and health services are often compromised, affecting the well-being and health of the populations on both sides. Psychological effects. The pervasive sense of insecurity and trauma affects generations. Children growing up in conflict zones are particularly vulnerable to psychological impacts such as post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and anxiety, which can affect their long-term well-being and ability to contribute to peace and development in the region. Economic consequences. The conflict stimulates economic development, restrictions on movement, damage to infrastructure, and the diversion of resources to military expenditure rather than development projects lead to economic hardships for people in both Israel and Palestine. This economic strain can exacerbate social tensions and make peaceful resolutions more difficult to achieve. International implications. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has significant international ramifications, influencing global political dynamics, including the policies of the United States, the United Nations, and other global entities. It also impacts international law, particularly regarding issues like the legality of settlements and the rights of refugees. Path forward. The resolution of this conflict necessitates not only political solutions, but also efforts to heal and reconcile divided communities. Initiatives that promote mutual understanding, respect for human rights, and cooperation can build the foundations for a sustainable peace. Education plays a crucial role by fostering a more nuanced understanding of the other side among young Israelis and Palestinians, potentially paving the way for future leaders committed to coexistence. The importance of applying historical lessons to the present lies in recognizing that while history shapes identities and grievances, it should not dictate current actions that perpetuate conflict. Instead, acknowledging the shared human suffering and common aspirations can lead to a dialogue grounded in mutual respect and a shared desire for peace and prosperity. This approach involves looking beyond the entrenched positions and finding common ground in the humanity of all involved, seeking solutions that promote the dignity and security of everyone in the region.